Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 103 of Yuddha Kanda. In the previous chapter, we saw Lakshmana being wounded by the Shakti Ayuda, that was Shakti weapon that was used by Ravana in order to hurt Lakshmana, and Lakshmana was lying in the pool of blood. In the meantime, because of the fierce attack by Rama, Ravana escaped from there, having already lost his charioteer, everybody. He was standing on the ground, and he could not able to withstand the fierce shower of arrows from Rama. And as he left, Rama involved in the treatment for his brother Lakshmana, who miraculously recovered wonderfully because of the great herbs that were brought by Hanumanta from the Himavat Parvata, Himavat mountain. And then Lakshmana, after his recovery, was wondering at why Rama is forgetting his woe and involved in the treatment of Lakshmana, and he requested Rama to pledge and go with his words. Hearing Lakshmana's words, the valiant Raghava, the destroyer of hostile warriors at the head of his forces, took up his bow and, stretching it, allowed a shower of his formidable shafts to fall on Ravana. From his side, that lord of the Titans, mounted on his chariot, rushed on Kakusta as Swarbhanu on Bhaskara. The Dashagriva, standing in his car, assailed Rama with darts like unto lightning, as a great cloud covers a huge mountain with its floods. Then Rama, with his arrows that were decorated with gold and resembled flaming brands, overwhelmed Dashagriva with them on the battlefield. On this, the gods, Gandharvas, and Kinnaras declared this combat is unequal because Rama is on foot while Titan Ravana is in the chariot. Thereupon, the foremost of the gods, the blessed Shakra or Indra, having heard the words of the immortals, called Mathali, his charioteer, and said to him, with my chariot, repair speedily to where the illustrious Raghava is fighting on foot. Go to the battlefield and invite him to ascend this car. Do yourself render this signal service to the gods. On this command from his king, Mathali, the celestial charioteer, bowing, made answer, saying, with all speed I go to fulfill my duty as a charioteer. Thereupon he harnessed the big horses to the most handsome of cars, the body of which being wrought with gold and hung with hundreds of little bells, with its emerald shafts shone like the rising sun, and it was yoked to excellent dappled steeds, flecked with white, caparisoned in gold, with their coats gleaming like the orb of the day. A standard fluttered on a golden shaft over that marvelous car belonging to Indra, and under the order of the king of gods, Mathali ascended it and, leaving the celestial regions, went to meet Prakusta. Armed with a lash, standing in the car, Mathali, the charioteer of the god of a thousand eyes, having paid obeisance to Rama with joined palms, he said, Sahasraksha, O Prakusta, O renowned destroyer of your enemies, Sahasraksha has lent you this car so that you may be victorious. Here too is Indra's great bow, his shield bright as fire, his arrow shining like the sun, and his godly spear well burnished. Ascend the chariot, O warrior, and with me as your charioteer, triumph over the Titan Ravana as did Mahendra over the Danavas. thus addressed Rama, whose splendor illumines the world, circumambulated the car, and bowing ascended it. Thereafter, a wonderful combat of chariots ensued between the long armed Rama and the titan Ravana, causing the hair to stand on end. Raghava, skilled in the use of powerful arrows, fought with the king of the Titans, marching Gandharva weapon against Gandharva weapon and celestial arrow against celestial arrow. When the royal knight ranger, in a paroxysm of fury, let fly a formidable missile on his rival, marvelous, dreadful, befitting a demon, loosed from Ravana's bow, those shafts decorated with gold falling on Kakusta were transformed into serpents of subtle venom, and those fearful monsters with brassy faces, vomiting searing flames from their gaping mouths, sprang on Rama, and those reptiles whose contact was equal to Vasuki of iron coils and violent poison enveloped all regions on every side, filling the whole of space. Seeing those serpents falling on him in the fight, Rama chose the dreadful and appalling Garuda weapon and discharged it, leaving Raghava's bow those golden shafted arrows, brilliant as flames, transformed themselves into golden eagles, slayers of serpents, and all the darts in the form of snakes were destroyed by arrows in the shape of birds that belonged to Rama, who was able to change his form at will. Enraged at the destruction of his weapon, Ravana, the lord of the Titans, caused a shower of formidable shafts to fall on Rama, and while he was riddling Rama of imperishable exploits with thousands of darts, he wounded Mathali with countless others. Thereafter, having aimed at the golden standard, Ravana shattered it with a single shaft, the golden device fell from the height of the chariot to the floor. With a series of arrows, he struck Rendra's steeds to the exceeding terror of the gods, Gandharvas, Charanas, and also the Danavas. And seeing Rama wounded, the Siddhas and great rishis were troubled, as also the king of the monkeys and Vibhishana. When the moon of Rama was concealed with their sight by Rahu in the form of Ravana, Buddha in the constellation of Prajapati rushed on Rohini, the beloved of Shashi, through the misfortune of all beings. With its mist wreathed waves, framing as it were the ocean surging up in fury, seemed to touch the orb of day, and the sun in the grasp of planet Dhumaketu assumed a brassy hue dreadful to behold, its rays extinguished, revealing a headless trunk on its disk. Angaraka too was in opposition to the brilliant star of the Koshalas, the presiding deities of which being Indra and Agni, and in the heavens the planet tormented Vishaka also, and Dashagriva with his 10 faces and 20 arms, equipped with his bow, looked like the mountain Mainaka. Meanwhile, Rama, overwhelmed by the 10 necked demon, was unable to loose his arrows in the conflict, and knitting his brows, enraged, his eyes inflamed, was transported with anger, and it seemed as if he would consume the Titan. On seeing the furious countenance of the virtuous Rama, all beings were seized with terror. The earth shook, the mountains frequented by lions and tigers trembled, the trees swayed to and fro, the ocean, that lord of rivers, was agitated, and flocks of crows, braying like donkeys, described circles in the sky on all sides. Beholding Rama wrought up in with extreme ire and those fearful portents, all beings were filled with fear, and Ravana too felt dismayed. The gods in their chariots, the Gandharvas, the great serpents, the rishis, the Danavas, Daityas, and winged creatures of the air gazed down on that conflict between those two warriors who fought with every kind of dreadful weapon so that it appeared like the dissolution of the worlds. Suras and Asuras who had come to witness the struggle with their eyes followed that formidable duel, uttering words of sympathy and encouragement, and the assembled Asuras cried out to Dashagriva, "Victory to you!" Because Asuras are the followers of Ravana, so they cried out for a victory to Ravana. And the Suras addressing Rama reiterated, "Triumph, triumph." At that instant, the wicked Ravana, in his fury against Rama, whom he wished to slay, took hold of an immense weapon that was as hard as diamond, deafening the destroyer of its enemies, furnished with spikes like unto mountain peaks, dreadful to conceive or behold. The Ravana lifted up that lance with its smoke wreath flaming point like unto the fires at the time of the final dissolution of the world that was greatly to be feared, irresistible, and which death itself could not endure, terror of all beings, who it was able to crush to fragments. At the height of anger, he raised his strong arm and, surrounded by his brave troops, brandishing his weapon that Colossus, his eyes red with fury, emitted a piercing cry in order to encourage his forces. And earth, sky, and the four quarters trembled at that fearful shout of the King of Titans. With his stout arm taking hold of that weapon, he emitted a great cry and addressed his opponent insolently and with these words: "This spear, as strong as a diamond, O Rama, that I wield in my wrath, through my prowess, will shortly rob you and your brother of your lives. You shall share the fate of my brave soldiers whom you did massacre in the forefront of the battle. Stay therefore, and I may strike you down with this lance, O Raghava." At these words, the king of Titans hurled his weapon at Rama, and loosed by Ravana's hand that lance wreathed in lightning, deafening with its eight bells, passed through the air with a blinding flash. Seeing that flaming spear, formidable to behold, Rama stretched his bow and discharged an arrow with force. But as the spear fell, Raghava loosed a mass of arrows to intercept it, so that he appeared like Vasava with his flood seeking to stay the encroachment of the fires at the end of the world period. As butterflies are consumed by flames, so were those shafts consumed by Ravana's huge spear. Then Raghava, seeing his aerial shafts reduced to ashes, pulverized by contact with that lance, was transported with anger and furious in the extreme. Thereafter, Rama, joy of the house of Raghu, took up his spear, favored by Vasava, that Mathali had brought to him. Wielding it with his powerful arm, that lance, the destroyer of the world, with its sonorous bells, lit up the sky like unto a brilliant meteor. In his fight, colliding with a spear belonging to that Indra of the Titans, it was shattered by the impact of that enormous lance, fell bereft of its splendor. Thereafter, Rama pierced Ravana's swiftly moving steeds with shafts loosed with great forces that were thunderous and flew straight to their target. Displaying all his strength, he wounded his rival in the breast with penetrating javelins, and his blow with three arrows. Whereupon Ravana, his whole body pierced with arrows and covered with blood, which flowed from wounds in all his limbs, resembled an Ashoka tree in full flower. His body riddled with darts loosed by Rama, bathed in blood, feeling himself utterly exhausted, lord of the rangers of the night, in the mid of his army, was filled with extreme wrath. Thus come to the end, chapter 103 of Yuddha Kanda in Ramayana. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam, Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.